Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Inmates will be moved into the new Laurel County Correctional Center in the next few days. WYAT's Madison program got to go inside today and gives us a tour.
A vision in the making.
We began with the concept of actually doing it about 4 years ago.
The new Laurel County Correctional Center ups its capacity to 664 beds, something jailer Jamie Mosley says is desperately needed.
Many of our cells are, severely overcrowded and too many people in there for the actual room that we have.
And we got the chance for a peek inside.
This is where the public will come in, they'll do their visitations. Currently we have 5 visitation booths. Here I think we have close to 15.
Moving on to the kitchen and laundry room.
We have a prep area on the right and we have a cleanup area on the left.
And then onto the isolation hallway.
When they have to be segregated from the general population, they'll go into a single-man dorm. And this just houses one inmate at a time.
With the rest of the cells made to fit 10 people. But throughout the facility, there is one key component: technology.
We're excited to utilize that equipment, and hopefully it makes us more accurate and just helps us do our job even better than we're doing it now.
From mobile cell checks to touchscreen cameras.
We can go to, it pulls up that, it's a 365-degree fisheye camera.
And even iPads.
They can put in sick calls, put in grievances, access the law library. They do all that from right here.
All part of a thoroughly thought out plan.
Finally, after about 4 years, we're here.
To create a safer and better environment for everyone involved. In Laurel County, Madison program, WYMT Mountain News.
And the public has a chance to see the facility for themselves Friday at 6 and 7:30 p.m. A tough budget cut is a tough pill to swallow for one Kentucky law enforcement agency. The Madison County Fiscal Court cut the Sheriff's Department budget by $300,000. He says the cuts will lead to deputies being let go, as well as not being able to replace patrol vehicles. This all comes as Madison County is facing serious financial problems and trying to address jail overcrowding. The growing amount of flu cases have caused a hospital in southern Kentucky to restrict visitors. The Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital has restricted visitation to immediate family members only. You are not allowed to visit if you have any flu-like symptoms like a fever or cough. No visitors under the age of 12 will be allowed. If you have to visit a patient, you need to report any flu symptoms to hospital staff. The guidelines are effective immediately.
Well, it's been a beautiful day throughout the mountains, and now we're looking at a beautiful evening as well. That sun setting on top of Buffalo Mountain, gorgeous as we head into the evening hours, but now it's going to start to get a little bit on the chilly side. Looking over into Whitesburg with that sun setting, not a cloud in the sky. Right now 48 degrees and most of us into the upper 40s to lower 50s. So feeling good for now, but once that sun goes down, definitely going to get on the chilly side once again, especially with those clear skies. So you see those clear skies continue tonight, those lower 30s as we head into your Thursday morning, but we'll warm up quite nicely. Most of us actually closer to the upper 50s. And then we're going to see those clouds start to increase as we head into your Friday, and that's because of our next system moving in Friday into your Saturday, bringing rain and actually very warm temperatures as we head into the next few days. We'll talk about those warm temperatures though coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Paige, thank you. There is continued concern for hay shortages this winter because of the recent wet weather. The hay auction held annually in Madison County is coming up, and it may relieve some stress for some farmers. Farmers from all over bring in thousands of square bales and hundreds of round bales to be auctioned off in lots to other farmers who are in need of hay to feed their livestock. And according to experts, the number in need is expected to grow this year after our unseasonable weather ruined the hay quality across much of the state.
We had a lot of rain that grew a lot of grass for us, which was good, but it was so wet that farmers couldn't get in the fields and get their hay put up dry, so a lot of it just got, put back on the field basically and wasn't able to be harvested.
Sears also says he's testing the quality and nutrition value of all the hay so that buyers can make sure they're buying the right quality hay for their livestock. The bushfires in Australia are devastating the popular eco-tourist site Kangaroo Island. Fires have burned about a third of that island, which is home to native and endangered animals. NASA's Terra satellite captured these before and after pictures. The first was taken in mid-December, the second on Tuesday. The brighter colors are the areas that have been burned. More than 100 fires have scorched 18 million acres. Nearly 500 million animals have died. 24 people are facing arson charges in connection to the fires. Kentucky's new Secretary of State wants a change to election laws. Michael Adams says he wants a requirement to show a photo ID to vote. It's a proposed new law that was filed in the state Senate on Tuesday. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what it would mean.
Michael Adams says he ran on this during this past year's election. He says people told him they wanted more integrity in the voting system and to curb possible voter impersonation. The newly elected Secretary of State says there is a perfect storm waiting in terms of voter fraud in Kentucky.
We've got an estimated 300,000 to 400,000 people on our rolls that we know shouldn't be on our voter rolls, who died or moved to some other state, and then there's no proof of identity. Adams told reporters Wednesday that other states have had a lot of problems with voter impersonation, and it's time for Kentucky to curb potential problems in requiring a photo ID to vote. We need a photo ID to open a bank account, to enter the state capitol, to buy Sudafed. We should also need a photo ID to vote. The bill also sets up a free way to get a government ID if they don't have a driver's license or a CDL. It's scandalous that we have second-class citizens in our state who can't perform basic life functions because they don't have a photo ID due to its cost.
And Adams says if for whatever reason people still have trouble getting a photo ID to vote, he says they can simply show an affidavit to show that they have an impediment to getting that photo ID and still be cleared to vote. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
The legislation is Senate Bill 2, and sponsor Robbie Mills of Henderson says it's one of the Senate's priorities for the 2020 session. In a series of tweets today, University of Kentucky professor and election expert Josh Douglas says this is a solution in search of a problem. He says, quote, "There is no need for a photo ID law in Kentucky elections. Photo ID laws prevent only one kind of voter fraud, in-person impersonation. There is zero evidence of that kind of fraud in Kentucky." Meanwhile, the U.S. Army is warning about a wave of fake text messages telling Americans they have been drafted to fight in Iran. The Army says the texts have spelling and grammatical errors. That's one key indicator they are fake. The other is that the draft was suspended in the 1970s and it would take an act of Congress to bring it back. It's unclear how many of these fraudulent armed forces recruiting texts may have been sent. Military security officials are still investigating the source. A former teacher in Western Kentucky has admitted to recording students in a high school bathroom. Mark Bogus pleaded guilty in Callaway County to 8 counts of possession of child pornography and 8 counts of voyeurism. Investigators say staff at Murray High School found a recording device in the bathroom of a nurse's station last year. Bogus resigned after he was arrested. Another Kentucky lawmaker is entering the race to take Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's seat. Representative Charles Booker officially entered the U.S. Senate race Sunday. Booker joins retired Lieutenant Colonel Amy McGrath on the primary ballot. She officially filed to run for Senate last week. Senator McConnell is seeking his 7th term. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, meet the robot that could become your butler. We'll look at all the robots at CES in Las Vegas.
And those temperatures will get chilly tonight, but after tonight we're going to say goodbye to these January temperatures and hello to more April-like temperatures. I'll have those details coming up in just a little bit.
On New Year's Eve, this animal shelter had a special guest. Now they're working to make sure the animals inside feel like special guests as well.